To get back to the game, though, I am curious as we continue with Ball Up Top, a women's basketball podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Does Indiana did they got to move someone to keep Arie McDonald?
Yeah.
Because, man,
yeah.
And the reason, like, it's been very clear, since that loss to Connecticut, they bring on Arie McDonald on the hardship contract. For those that are unfamiliar with Arie's background, Arie can hoop. 2021 NCAA championship. Arizona makes a run to the title game where they'd eventually lose to Stanford. That was Arie McDonald. Arie McDonald almost pulled off the Cheryl Swoop special. Like
crazy. Like that should not have
crazy. Happened. That was,
I
mean, the way we talk about Caitlin's run in 23, getting Iowa to the finals with Big Nano, that was Arie.
A lot of the same stuff
with
can
Kate
be said.
Reese, same. And Adia Barnes never looked the same after Arie left. So Arie's been hurt, even if she hasn't found a place in the league just yet. And some of that you can look at the Sparks and be like, what did you actually have it right?
Yeah.
But she's looked amazing in Indiana, man. The difference just to have a facilitator on offense. I know it's such a stupid elementary sport thing to say, hey, when you have a good point guard, your offense is good. Novel take. That's what you're coming to us for. But dude, it's so obvious just how much they needed that. And so to the point, I feel like you have to keep it just because what if, God forbid, Caitlin gets hurt again? What if Caitlin needs a breather? What if she needs minutes? What if she gets into foul trouble? You've seen what it looks like when she's not on the floor and you don't have Arie on the roster. And I don't want to advocate for anyone to be gone, but I feel like you have not gotten a ton out of Bree Turner.
Yeah.
So if you have to let one go, I don't feel like you're at a depth issue in the front court there. So what are your thoughts?
I completely agree. I mean, I think it's a completely different type of point guard compared to what Sid Colson is. And I think that maybe in hindsight that frankly Indiana maybe went a little too heavy into finding as many vets as they possibly could. So whether that's, maybe a switch up and signing a different point guard instead of Sid Colson, initially, or just not the Bree Turner move, because I agree. I'm with you. You've seen, to your point, you've seen what this looks like without Caitlin. And it does not look good. And there really hasn't been an on-roster solution for that until Arie showed up. And you don't just let that go. Obviously, you're not expecting Arie to be in there a ton of minutes. That's not what, you're not asking the world of her. But what you're asking of her can genuinely be floor/ceiling changing to me. If you're able to get minutes, even if it's not in the game directly, but if you're able to steal minutes away in the regular season where you're able to rest Caitlin and then that postseason comes and Caitlin's in, and maybe Arie's not even truly playing heavy minutes in there, but because of those minutes she plays in the regular season, Caitlin is better prepared to go in deep into those games, play in the 40, that's the type of things that I feel you have to think about right now, especially with not that I'm not a doctor or anything, but hamstrings, all that it's a little weird.
Quads, man.
Yeah,
it can get aggravated.
It's weird. And so if you get to a point where this game's over, let's throw Arie in there. Where you don't have to stress about not even if you're pulling all the starters. But if you're able just to let up a little bit when Caitlin's back because you have Arie on this roster, that is more than you're getting out of majority of these players that are on this bench right now. And just for that alone, so just even be able to get Caitlin any amount of rest is enough reason for me. And that's not even getting into the fact that she's been more than serviceable so far as a backup point guard. She's been legitimately really solid.
A good, a legitimately good point guard.
To me, even again, whether it's a Sid Colson or to me, you can't take this positive, have this positive come in, and then go back to what you were doing because it just did not look good when Caitlin was off the court. So to me, I don't Bree Turner is the odd one out to me because I feel you have a lot of that. And what's Bree Turner's playing 5 minutes a game, you could probably survive giving it to Michaela Timpson.
That's what I was going to say.
I don't think that's going to tank your season by any means if Bree Turner is not there to play those minutes versus the benefit of having Arie McDonald on this roster. It's It's pretty clear cut to me, honestly. Like I don't see a way that you can go back to not having a backup point guard of this caliber on this roster.
Well, and there's something to the idea that, do you want another team to take her? Right? Like, is there something to an addition by addition where
Chicago probably could use her right now?
I was about to say that. Like, Chicago feels like they desperately need a point guard now that Courtney Vandersloot's out for the season with a torn ACL. If you let her go, are you just handing her to a different team that needs it and can use it? Not that Arie McDonald will be a salve for the problems that Chicago has, but I mean, every team, as you know, we have seen via somebody like New York, for instance, every team needs a point guard. Every single team can always use an additional point guard on their roster. And it just feels to me that you are holding on to a lot more if you keep her there. And obviously this opens up the discussion about, you know, roster spots and expanding the rosters and the fights to have in the CBA, which, you know, it feels like that's going to be a tooth and nail thing that I think the players union and the owners are actually not going to agree on, because theoretically speaking, it's cheaper and also it guarantees a higher profit to create roster spots via an expansion franchise.
Yeah.
So the argument I think they're going to make is, sure, we could pay more for, you know, to get the roster to 12 or 13 or 14, or we can guarantee like 4 more expansion teams and a higher cap. So now theoretically you now have 60 new roster spots that people can be on, and the expansion fee can then get dumped back into the league, and we can potentially guarantee you a higher slice
I
of the
think
salary
that's what's going to
pie.
happen.
Yeah, which frankly just sucks, because it's not really so much about making everybody feel good. It's more the fact that the injury count is just preposterous to open up the year.